Well, I had a question about how to make an object pull along a belt and have the belt move so that you could kind of see it going rather than just moving along the top. So if, let's say, this had lines on it, you'd see the lines going around. Initially, I was going through and doing transmission belts and then just increased the actual width of it. So playing around with that, seeing if that would be the best way to go. Um, it still might be. I haven't really dived into that too hard. So just going about a different way. Basically made a belt and just a little marker and another little marker that would follow along these. Um, that was the initial idea. And then basically made a strip out of it. This one is flat and this one is curved. So when I came into the assembly here, I basically constrained them and set up some animation constraints where kind of set them up like so. And you'll see that it kind of works. Now there's a couple of tricks that I use that aren't really the best way to do it, but I figured out how to make it work. So not necessarily the best thing to say, but there's some good ideas here. So what I did is I took the initial part here, and as it goes, it hits this point and then fades. So if I come into here and delete this, you'll actually see what's going on. So it comes back around. So I hide it from here and here by using a fade. So on this one right here, you see it doesn't come back around where it actually is. So it's just a loop continually going around and then fading. Same thing with these. Once they get to this point, then they fade out. And then when they fade out, it turns into the other one. So it's pretty much a cheat, but as you can see, it kind of works. Um, it comes back up and meets to there. So that was the general idea. The way that I constrained them is pretty simple. Flush to there, flush to the side, and I set up a simple plane in the assembly level that was back 10 inches and then the width. So basically, as I animated over time, I think I did it over 5 seconds. So it moves 10 inches over 5 seconds, so 2-to-1 ratio. And then this one went around at the same ratio, so when they meet back up, basically it's a continuous loop. So if you animate it, it kind of works out that way. Nothing crazy with the dynamic simulation stuff as of yet. Thought of it another way. This one's doesn't work out as well. So made a part here and then put some surfaces and then another surface and another surface. And then made a belt and then made an outside surface that you can basically select to, put them on, linked them all together by these points, which should be here. So it's basically a circular constraint between the two, so that way when it comes around the corner, it'll stick, whereas if you had, the faces flush, it would then come off and go straight. So as I did this, you got all three of them coming together, and this is where it seems to be breaking at the moment. I don't think this is the best way to do it, but I had it working out earlier. Let's see if I can do this here. Yeah. So once you start selecting a whole bunch of them, it seems to fall apart. But if you do one, it sticks. So I really haven't, gotten this one all figured out anyways. But yeah, it's a workaround. So you pretty much do a transitional constraint between this part and then the outside face. I found that if you just do the surface, it won't stick around the corner. If you just do an entire surface itself, it won't. So I created a part and a surface, and it seems to stick. Not particularly sure why, but it kind of works. So as far as that goes, this is the best way. The way that you actually set this up is you go into parameters, and I named these ones. So stripe N, stripe 1, 2, 3, and 4, which correspond to here. You'll see that this one's 10, 20, and 30, so that way I can do even numbers, so that way when I'm driving by time, I can figure out ratios so it's not getting all confused. Make them key and exported, so that way when you come into the studio environment, you can go to parameter favorites. Then you select them here, so that way when you come over to your animation favorites, you can then animate your parameters and it'll come up to here. So for instance, shows you what's going on. Parameters end up here. Select this one, edit. So 0 to 10 inches, so it basically moves from here to there over 0 to 5 seconds. So it takes 5 seconds to get to there. So then this one starts from basically the base part here to 10 inches. So it starts at negative 10 and it goes to 0 and then to 10 over 10 seconds. And the arced one, which I had just looping, it starts at 90 degrees because this is 0 and that's 90. It comes around 360 plus the original 90 and then 0 to 5. I was going to do it so just keep looping around, but I wanted to do a fade between the halfway mark. So I could just have it go halfway and then just have it go halfway again, but it needs to come around. Just playing around with it. That seemed to work easier for me at that moment. And then your fade. Basically go from 100% to 0 on instantaneous. So it just turns off. You can have it go over time, like, from 0 to 10 seconds, and then it'll fade out gradually, or you can just have it do instantaneous. So I just wanted it to turn off because when I go, you can see right here, it basically turns off and then the other one comes back on. So there's a bit of a little, I didn't do it perfect, I don't think. No, maybe. So I don't know if that really answers the question here, but thought I'd ramble on a bit about what's going on here. So hope that helped.